Yes, big game, big opinions, nothing held back. Welcome to the Football Talk Shop, where the ball does the talking, and I'm your host, of course. And with me on this one, I've got my brother, the Osiguna, Steve. Good to have you on the channel after a long sabbatical. Welcome, my brother. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. Praise the Lord. I'm still kicking. You know how it is. But man, I'm very happy to be on this channel finally. Thank you for having me. And I think we've got a lot of things to talk about when it comes to this Forest game, my friend.
We do have a lot of things to talk about. And shout out DWDT. Thanks for jumping on to say hello. Big up to the Arsenal family. But brother, I think it's been a while without club football, without watching our darling Arsenal in their classic red and white jersey play. But with the return of club football after the international break, I think it's a good comeback on the channel to come back, sit back, and have a shit chat about what we expect from the Arsenal team going into this. It's a must-win game after the loss at Anfield. I think Mikel Arteta may need to bounce back, and we need to get all 3 points in this one. So, but bro, going into this game, what are your thoughts? What are your initial thoughts before we go into the team news and all of that? What are your thoughts after the loss to Liverpool, who are the league champions at Anfield? What are your thoughts going into this one?
I think this has to be a statement win.
Mm,
Liverpool, I'll be honest with you, weren't impressive at Anfield, and most Liverpool fans will probably say the same. They weren't at their best.
mm.
For me, that was 3 points dropped. And I think here when it comes to Nottingham Forest, a team that, let's be honest, have struggled this season, have just appointed Ange Postecoglou as their new manager. Ownership and management head to head. A bit sketchy start of the season. I think Arsenal facing Forest now, with whatever new manager bounce they're going to get, need to take the game to Forest, need to make this a convincing win. I think the game needs to be full throttle, and Mikel Arteta needs to show those cojones because we've got the squad. And I think that's what needs to happen at the Emirates when it comes to Arsenal and Nottingham Forest, respectively, after what's happened at Anfield.
Yeah, I totally agree with your point, my brother. I think this is the game where we have to go all out and get the win. And you rightly pointed the direction of the manager, that we have the players, we have the squad depth, we have the quality to go out there and beat Forest in front of our home fans in a very convincing style, in a very convincing manner. But real quick, let's just go a little bit to the team news. We know Arsenal will be without the likes of Bukayo Saka and also Gabriel. Sorry, and also William Saliba. So without William Saliba and Bukayo Saka, who were also absent, Saliba got injured early in the game against Liverpool at Anfield, and Saka was absent from that cracker of a game. So, but bro, what are your thoughts with respect to the team news, players who will be missing? We saw that from the training pictures that came out yesterday. We saw that the likes of Leandro Trossard were in training. The likes of Nkapi, the new signing, were also in training. But with respect to these two absentee, there've also been some information on X coming from the end of Arsenal saying both players are progressing well with respect to their injuries. What are your thoughts with respect to the absentees for Arsenal going into this game?
Well, I don't want to rush either player back into the
Yeah.
squad. I think Mikel Arteta's management of injuries, fatigue
Mm.
is, if I was to rate him out of 10, it would be -1. Saliba was pretty much, he was warned, Mikel Arteta was warned by medical staff that Saliba had actually injured himself in the warm-up against Anfield.
Mm.
And against that direction, he decided to start him anyway, and he limped off. I'd like to be honest. Mosquera came in for William Saliba at Anfield, and I said it on my channel. We were talking about it. I didn't notice
Yeah.
Mosquera in the game against Liverpool. A quick player, young, charismatic, a solid defender, and I think he's going to be targeted by Woods, but let's be perfectly honest. The biggest challenge was at Anfield, in front of that Anfield crowd, and he
Mm.
really did impress. Um, with the absence of Bukayo Saka, I think Arsenal, they're going to have to use Madueke. There's no other option. He's our backup. And I think this is something Arsenal fans have to get used to. Bukayo Saka, I'm not saying he's going to become injury prone, but with the amount of football that he's played and the injuries that he has sustained, we need to start using him in important games, in games that matter, and not just here and there and everywhere. So Madueke coming in for Bukayo Saka on the right hand side, I don't see it being the worst or the worst possible solution for us. I know he's going to be facing Nico Williams at right side, but I think with Mosquera in, Madueke in, we've got enough to take the game to Nottingham Forest and to come out with a comfortable win. Not even a 1-0. I'm expecting this to be very comfortable.
I totally agree with you, my brother. And I think when Saliba got injured, the performance of Mosquera also, is a testament of the squad depth and the quality we currently have in this Arsenal team. Because we've seen in recent times where we go into the season with just a very strong 11. Or I think last season we went into the season with a very strong 13 to 15 players with respect to the squad. But now I think we have so much depth and we have a way stronger squad. And even with the absence of the likes of Saka and also with William Saliba, who got injured during the warm-up, these absentees were not really felt in the game with respect to the quality and how the team performed. Because I think we also saw, remember, I think about some seasons ago when we were doing fantastically well, the defense was solid, Saliba got injured, but the player who came in to replace him could not, perform pretty close to that quality that we're getting from William Saliba, and it affected the result massively. But with the likes of Mosquera, who is also a very young centre-back, he's still learning the centre-back trade, but he's a player who's growing and developing well. We saw how, he played a lot of games last season for Valencia in the La Liga, and he's also playing for the Spanish under-21 team. So I look at, these guys coming in, and you've mentioned Madueke also coming in for Saka. And we saw that Madueke was doing very well for the Three Lions during the international. We'll dive down deep into Madueke and what we potentially expect from him in this game. But, all around, I think this Arsenal team is way more stronger than it has been in terms of quality in the last two seasons. And this also, I think is one of the reasons why a lot of us are expecting the manager to go all out this season and to bring silverware, because now we think we have not just a strong 11, but a strong squad that is full of quality players, and we want to see rotation. We want to see, using those players, like you rightly said, in the right games to also maximize our performance over a long period of time. So, but without the likes of Saka, without the likes of Saliba, we know that the other players, we have almost a fit squad without Saliba and Saka, the likes of Calafiori, everyone, even Christian Norgard, who was injured. Christian Norgard was also present from the pictures we saw yesterday during the training session. So I think it's a fantastic time for Arsenal. Hopefully we'll get Saka and Saliba back as soon as possible. But just like you, I would not want to rush with respect to Saka. I would want us, to give him as much time as possible to have him heal very well, so we will not experience any setback. And during the key moments, during the big games when we need our star boy, he will be able to step up and get us the goals, get us the assist that we need, to achieve silverwares this season. But let's move on to the next segment, brother. With the absent players, and now a lot of us are looking towards this game and saying this could potentially be this is the right game. This is the right time for us to see a change on the left-hand side for Arsenal. And talking about that change, a lot of us were screaming that Eberechi Eze should have started that game against Liverpool at Anfield. But now, in my opinion, I think now is the time to see Eze start. What are your thoughts about Eze starting this game, Ossie?
Look, it would be insane. It would be insane not to start him on the left. And me and you have had discussions about what kind of left winger I want.
Yeah.
Now, I know Eze isn't a left wing. He's more 9, more of a false 9, a number 10. But what we need on the wings for Arsenal are two different dynamics. Now, you can't have a dynamic of Gabriel Martinelli who just runs from post to post and he does his laps. That's not a dynamic. That's just a waste of space. That's running a team with 10 men. You need a player who's more like, and I've said it before, like Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez, yes, he could run to the post to put a ball in, but he was very renowned for cutting it on his right and cutting in early to drive into the box. Now, Eze not being that left wing, that's going to be his game all day, which has always been his game. So this game will suit Eze. And the best thing about this is it allows Arsenal to start playing a more three-dimensional type of football where we have got either winger stretching the defense in two different ways, and we have the midfield coming into play. But we need a winger. We need a player who's going to be able to go on that left-hand side and claim it and make it his own. You know, if we don't go through and start Eze in this game, and we continue with the Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard, then the left-hand side will not be any different than what we've seen. It'll be useless. And all Nottingham Forest have to do is line up and worry about the Gyökeres and Madueke, because Odegaard and Rice will be out of the game. This is a game for Eze to really shine, to finally get on the pitch with the starting 11 and to make a starting line debut at the Emirates. And I think if he starts, that this game will blow out and we are going to score more than 2 goals in this game. But we need Eze on that left-hand side. I know it's not his comfortable position, but imagine, guys, if anyone's watching this now, remember Alexis Sanchez, what he used to do. He used to cut in on his right and cut in early. Now, that's completely different from what Bukayo Saka does. And I'd be happy to see that continue throughout the rest of the season if we don't have an 11. I mean, what do you think? Eze to start in the 11 for Arsenal from here on up until we have a better option.
I totally agree with you, my brother. I cannot disagree with all the points that you've already given with respect to Eze starting on the 11. And to buttress your points, even furthermore, I would say Eze has to start as our starting number 11 up until we can go out there and bring in a specialist winger in that position. For me, I think now we don't have any other player because this position has plagued us, especially last season when the form and the performance and the output and words we are getting from Gabriel Martinelli has gone down. And also we saw that Leandro Trossard was not able to perform consistently also on the left. So I think looking at the players we have at our disposal, when you want to compare Leandro Trossard, Gabriel Martinelli, Eze is the best option we have with respect to that left wing, and I think is the best man for the job. And in all the key games, I want to see Eze starting on that left wing. All the games where we need to, we know we need to put our best 11 out there. Eze is the best man with what we currently have at our disposal. Eze, he needs to start because this is the player you talk about, his ability to cut infield and, get a shot on target or get the shot in the back of the net or give an assist. And with some of the clips I saw from the training sections yesterday, it looks like he's already playing there on the left. And if you saw some of the clips on the left, he dribbles and cuts in and, he takes the shot, beats the goalkeeper. So I think we already seen, glimpse of that from the training session. And I hope that, Mikel Arteta would make the decision to put him on the left in this game against Nottingham Forest, because I think we need that flair. We need Eze is a player that is going to, we are going to enjoy watching. It comes with the flair. It comes with the eye for the goal. And it's a big player moment and a big moment player, a player who would step up to the plate for us when we need a goal or we need an assist. And we're talking about.
Oh, lost your sound there, buddy.
Yeah. I lost the sound, but good to get it back. So I was talking earlier on, before I lost my sound, about how Viktor Gyökeres struggled against Manchester City to get opportunities, struggled against Liverpool to get opportunities. And I think playing Eze on the left is one of the solutions that we have to this issue we've seen so far with the start of Viktor Gyökeres. Gyökeres is a striker that is very effective in the box. He's a striker that does most of his work in the box. We need to put him in this dangerous position. And Eze is one of the players, one of the key to unlock this door. One of the players that would give Viktor Gyökeres the supply need. One of the players that would put Viktor Gyökeres in the position that we can get, a good number of goals from this prolific striker who has done it for Sporting in the Portuguese league in the last 2 seasons. So I think Eze playing on the left, players like Viktor Gyökeres, players like Madueke on the right up until when we get Saka fit would thrive. And even Martin Odegaard would thrive because this is the player who would come in and also reduce that creative responsibility, that creative burden that has been on Odegaard's shoulder. Eze is also another player that would share from that responsibility and also give Odegaard, some freedom to get in the action, to get in the goals, to get in more assists. So I think Eze is a player that benefits our attacking side of the game all round with respect to the midfield and also to the attack. So, but brother, I think we've talked about Eze. You've given your point. I've added a little to all the fantastic points that you've already dropped with respect to Eze starting on the left. Let's go move on to our preferred lineup since we already did the preview show already on your channel and we both agreed on this preferred lineup. And since it is in front of us, brother, I would like to get your thoughts on the lineup and how you think this lineup could unlock the Nottingham Forest team. We know they have a new manager in Ange Postecoglou, and I was not really happy with the decision to sack Nuno Espirito Santo, but fine. I think, that should be an advantage for us. That should work in our favor. But what are your thoughts about our preferred lineup going into this game, Steve?
I think this here is the strongest lineup that we could possibly field against Forest. Now, there are going to be calls for Lewis Skelly on the left side for Calafiori. And the only reason I want Calafiori in there is because that's what he's been brought in to do. Miles Lewis Skelly is a midfielder, and I don't want to ruin him like Zinchenko. So if I want to see Skelly anywhere now, I want to see him more in the midfield. But apart from this looks like a very solid team. The only things I would want to see is players performing in their rightful positions. Now, this is what I mean about our midfield and our problems that we've had centrally. We look at Martin Zubimendi and what he was brought in to do. He is not a Thomas Partey. No one can be. Not even close. He's a different type of DM. He's a kind of DM that can receive the ball and unlock an attack. And how can he unlock an attack? Either he's going to go from one wing to the other, or it's going to go straight down the channels to a midfielder, whether it be the number 8 to Declan Rice, or whether it be the number 8 to Odegaard, number 10. I need to see Odegaard, in my opinion, in more of an advanced position. And somewhat also Declan Rice. I need Zubimendi to be able to control his third in front of his defenders. I need Zubimendi and Timber to be best friends. I do not want to see Odegaard in that area, receiving the ball only to blast up the pitch. This is going to be key to having Odegaard play 80 to 85 minutes consistently and to be able to perform. If Odegaard's allowed to be more advanced, then he's going to be able to link up a lot better with Madueke and in some instances a lot better with Gyökeres. But if Odegaard is drawn back into our defensive third to pick up a ball and then play it out, it's going to nullify our attacks. And the only way we're going to be able to break Nottingham Forest is a long ball, much like you saw against Leeds, to Gyökeres, which was from Calafiori to Gyökeres. Now, I want to see us play through them. And the only way we can play through them is to be able to allow players like Zubimendi to do their job. And look, at the end of the day, if Zubimendi right now struggles against Forest, I have no qualms with bringing Declan Rice into the 6. No problems at all. We're bringing Declan Rice into the 6, bringing Martin Odegaard into an 8, and bringing Ethan Nwaneri in as a 10. I'll happily change that formation if Zubimendi cannot do his job. But in my opinion, I think he will. And that's going to be key to Madueke. Madueke stretching the defenders. Madueke and Eze are going to have a job to do here. And that's to shift defenders left to right. Supply Gyökeres, but at the same time, have the defenders wonder, is it going to be a pass or is it going to be a shot? And if Madueke draws me out here, is he just trying to stretch the lines or is he trying to beat me? But I need that to be the same dynamic from left to right. That way you can unlock Gyökeres. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of players here have a job to do. Urian Timber has a job to do with Madueke and overlapping runs, and we all know he can do it. Declan Rice needs to start showing that he can play the number 8. So that means when he gets a chance from outside the box, and that goes for Martin Odegaard too, that when you get a chance from outside the box, especially against a team like Nottingham Forest, who are susceptible from goals outside the box, take the crack, take the shot. I do not want us to have to try and pass it into the back of the net. If there's a shot available, test Sells, test him. Because I'm telling you now, if we start taking shots from outside the box, those defenders are going to second guess a third or fourth pass. They're going to think they're going to take a shot and clamp in. And that'll still give us an opportunity to play through them. We can't make it predictable, Akpos, if you know what I mean. Continuous passing, and eventually we'll pass it into the box.
Sure.
I want the defenders to think that if there's a ball outside the box and availability for Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, or even Eze to take the shot, that they will if we give them the chance.
Mm.
And I think in this game, if we do approach it in that fashion, it will be quick and there'll be goals. And I guarantee you that Gyökeres, if he's supplied one or two decent chances, will hit the back of the net in this game, if not once, twice.
I agree with your point, my brother. And to add to what you were saying with respect to taking shots and from outside the box, I thought Martin Odegaard had a fantastic opportunity against Liverpool to take a shot where he decided to pass. And this was one of our frustrations with Odegaard, especially last season, where we see him get into this dangerous position and is not letting go of that shot. And, another reason why a lot of us are more frustrated when we see him act like that is if it was a player who do not know how to strike the ball, who do not have a good shot in him, we would want to consider that, okay, every time he takes the shot, he's going off target and all of that. But we've seen Odegaard, take good shots and put the ball in the back of the net, or get the shot on target. So when we see him get into this position and he's scared to pull the trigger, is scared to take a shot on goal, we are getting worried, because you are supposed to be one of the key guys. You're supposed to be one of the guys who's calling the shots, who's who the team look up to when we are in difficult situations to bail us out. And you get into this dangerous position, you don't want to take a shot. You don't want to take responsibility. So I think we need to see Odegaard and Declan Rice taking more responsibility. Rice did it so much better than Odegaard, especially last season. He got more number of goals. He was taking shots from outside the box. We need to see more shots from Declan Rice, because we know that he can do it. We know he can ping the shot. We know, he can ping it into the far corner. So we want to see Declan Rice also doing that more in this, especially in this game against Nottingham Forest, where we are going to be playing in front of our home crowd, when we expect us to control the game and dominate possession. We want to see Odegaard taking shots. We want to see Declan Rice also taking shots. And Zubimendi, if he gets also in those positions, you talk about how he's a different style and profile of midfielder when compared to Thomas Partey. Because for me, Zubimendi, I look at the way he has played so far in an Arsenal shirt and what I've seen before he also joined us, he's more of a register. He's more of a midfielder who is very similar in profile to Jorginho. He wants to dictate the play, he wants to control precedence of the game from a deep lane midfield position, and we would definitely need him. And you hit the nail on the head when you said we do not need Martin Odegaard dropping deep with Zubimendi in this midfield. We need Odegaard more on the offensive side, where he has the strength. Deep down, I think we've seen him struggle when he drops down into these deep midfield positions to receive the ball, because it's not very physical. When he gets into these physical battles with players who are very physical, a very good example is the game against Crystal Palace, where he dropped deep to receive the ball, but a mistake between him, or miscommunication between him and Thomas Partey, resulted in a goal. So I also want to see Odegaard staying up the pitch, the upper side of the pitch, and let Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi deal with everything that concerns dictating the play and how we pass out from the back. And I hope Mikel Arteta will set his team up in this fashion. And for me, I totally agree with you with respect to the players we have at our disposal, and going that this looks very much like our strongest team right now. And some persons, like you said, some persons might want to take out Calafiori for MLS, Miles Lewis Kelly. If Miles Lewis Kelly is starting this game, I will also have no complaints. But I'm hoping to see Eze starting on the left, Madueke on the right, and Viktor Gyökeres playing through the middle. I'm talking about Viktor Gyökeres. We need, like you rightly said, we need Madueke and we need Eze to give him all the supply. Madueke, Eze, Odegaard, Declan Rice, Zubimendi, the fullbacks. Calafiori and Timber, and also Gebre. If Gebre can ping a long one to
Oh yeah.
Gyökeres all the way, let him do it. If Masquera can find him with a true ball, let him do it. I think this team, and also with the goalkeeper David Raya, we need to put Gyökeres in this dangerous position where we can get the most out of him. The games where we've seen him struggle, it's because we have not given him the supply. Gyökeres needs the supply. Gyökeres is not the kind of striker that would drop deep and come to get the ball and take it all over to put the ball on the back of the net. We need to, he is a box striker, in my opinion. We need to put him in this dangerous position where he can get a shot and can get us the goals that we need to win games. Because in games when you don't score, you don't win those games. So I think we need to, maximize the strength of this top striker that we've signed in Viktor Gyökeres. But I would love us to talk about a player who has been in form for his national team during the international break in Madueke. This was a signing that, the Arsenal fan base were not enthusiastic about, were not excited about. But so far, we've seen that, okay, this is what he can bring to the team. And we've seen him, performing. We've seen him even performing even better than the likes of Gabriel Martinelli on the left. What are your thoughts about the high-flying Madueke we saw with the Three Lions over this just concluded international break? And do you think if we are going to see Madueke hitting the ground running after the international break for Arsenal in this game against Nottingham Forest? Do you think he will be able to replicate that high-flying form and bring it to the party on Saturday against Nottingham Forest?
I think he can, and there's a reason why, though. Madueke is playing second fiddle to Saka for his national team, and he's playing second fiddle to Saka at Arsenal. And now Saka is injured. This takes me back to ESR and Gabriel Martinelli. And once upon a time, ESR was that guy. He got injured. Gabriel Martinelli came in and took that opportunity. Now, I'm not saying that Madueke is going to overthrow Saka, but this is a good position. I like this. And I think Madueke, yes, I'm not his biggest fan, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. I think Madueke is going to want to, and he's going to be throwing everything he can at this game to prove a point that, yeah, I might be rotation for Saka, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I can be that guy. And the same thing is he tried to make a statement in his call-up that, hey, look, I know we haven't got Saka, but I'm here, and I can be effective as well. And with a player like Noni Madueke, and I know a Chelsea reject, some will say, much like Kai Havertz, I think that him coming to Arsenal allows him an opportunity to play on the right-hand side with a team that, look, it's a fresh start. And I think he's coming in now and with this opportunity, and he probably thought to himself, oh, my opportunities are going to be few and far between. He gets to play on the right-hand side where he's more comfortable. He's got at least 4 weeks to make an impact at Arsenal. And I think against Nottingham Forest, he's going to be giving Williams a hard time. He's going to be tearing him up. He's going to be dragging him and Milinkovic all over the pitch, just trying to open up gaps. And this is the thing. Before we hammer on a winger, sometimes a winger doesn't have to score a goal. He just has to make sure that the defenders are out of position to open up play. And I'm hoping that Madueke in this game is going to show the same courage, the same determination that he did for England. Because if he does, that's going to give Arteta another cannon or another possible option in his arsenal. Having Madueke playing the right-hand side allows us to rotate a little bit more with Bukayo Saka. And if we can possibly trust him as much as, hey, look, there's a game that Saka doesn't need to play, i.e. this Nottingham Forest game, I wouldn't want Saka to play this game, to be honest. I'd rather Madueke play if he's in form. So I think it's in his best interests to throw everything he can at this game. And I believe now that he's coming on form, it's perfect. The international break was 100% a wonderful time for Declan Rice and Madueke. And these two players are coming back to Arsenal after representing their country in possibly one of the best ways. And what better way now to come home and take the game to Forest?
Spot on from you, my brother. Spot on from you. And one of the things I wanted to add with respect to Noni Madueke is he has brought a very effective tool for Mikel Arteta to add to his arsenal with respect to how direct he is, how
Yeah.
very it does not take too many touches to get the ball to the opposition's 18-yard box. And this is something that we've lacked with respect to some of the wingers that we have at our disposal. Madueke is a very, very direct player, and we saw this directness for the Three Lions over the international break. And I want to see him replicate that in this game against Nottingham Forest, to be very direct. And something that we also saw with respect to the Three Lions over the international break is the productivity when it gets in this dangerous position. Is getting goals, is getting assists. We want to see goals, want to see assists if he gets into this dangerous position, because that's been one of the frustration where while he was at Chelsea, while he was wearing why was representing the blue side of London for Chelsea. We want to see a player who is going to be very effective. Chelsea fans complain that sometimes they are seeing a very efficient player. They are seeing a player who could potentially get into the world class level, but in other games they are seeing an average player, and in other games they are seeing a very poor player. So I think we want to see a Noni Madueke is going to be consistent for most part of the season. It's very difficult to keep that consistency for all of the season, but what we are saying is, will he be able to keep it for most part of the season? That's something we are urging to see him do. When he gets in form, let him keep that, that high-flying form for most part of the season, where we will see goals, where we will see assists. And also, you talk about the fact that we do not expect wingers to always score every time. Not every winger will do it like some of the greats who, have massive numbers of goals and assists, but we want to see that you are affecting the game. When you get into this dangerous position, you are drawing defenders out of position and giving your players in other positions, options to create chances and also to put the ball on the back of the net. This is what we expect to see from a player like Noni Madueke. And with respect to some of the very top performance we've seen from him, while even as far back as to PSV Eindhoven, is the talent is there. But
Yeah.
will he be able to replicate it over a long period of time? That has been, some concerns. And with respect to his on-field attitude, sometimes when he gets into dangerous position, the quality of the passing, his finishing. So I think we have seen him doing it for the Three Lions during the international break, scoring goals, getting assists. We want to see him doing it for Arsenal in this game against Nottingham Forest. And like you said, if he can't score, let him pull out these defenders in out wide and give the likes of Viktor, Gyökeres, Eberechi Eze, other guards options and opportunity to either create chance for us or put the ball on the back of the net. But I'm expecting Noni Madueke to go into this one and have a good game on the right-hand side in the absence of Saka, because this season, I look at the season and look at the players that we have now, I feel like each and every single player is going to be very important for us. We need all hands on deck. We need every player to contribute their own quota, and Noni is one of them. And I'm hoping that he will be able to replicate that fantastic form we saw while he was wearing the colors of the Three Lions against Nottingham Forest when he puts on the Arsenal shirt over the weekend. But bro, what are your thoughts about Declan Rice and our midfield? You talked about our midfield, and so far this season, we can't say our midfield has been high flying. We've seen them do fantastically well, like against Leeds United. When the game started, we did not started high flying, but we grew into the game and we dominated the game and controlled proceeding. But against United, we saw the midfield struggle. Against Liverpool, especially in the second half, we also saw that the midfield was struggling. What are your thoughts about Declan Rice, Martin Zubimendi, and Odegaard going into this one and this Arsenal midfield? How do you expect the team to react after the loss to Liverpool at Anfield? And how do you expect the midfield to handle an opposition like Nottingham Forest?
Well, the midfield pairing at Anfield was a Moreno Rice midfield, and I think I've discussed it with you before. I hate to have two like for like midfielders side by side. I've never favored that.
Mm,
Here against Nottingham Forest, and the reason why is because you get no creativity, or you get too much creativity and you have no defense. So if you have two
no
number
defense,
10s
yeah,
side by side, then guess what? They walk through you. If you have two number 8s, nothing really happens unless you have a Carzola sort of 8. In this
true.
case, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard need to understand their roles. Now, Declan Rice, obviously, if he has Eze start on his left-hand side, that's his partner. much like Odegaard has Madueke as his partner. Each midfielder has a winger that they're going to be working with and a wing back. So in this case, it'll be Odegaard, Urian Timber, and Madueke on the right-hand side. Respectively, it's going to be Calafiori, Eze, and Rice on the left. That partnership is key to any midfielder or any wingers, how can I say, success. So for Odegaard to be able to open up that right hand channel for him to get a shot, he needs to be able to pass the ball back and forth with Urian Timber Madueke, and Madueke to stretch the ball, and obviously for him to be in an option for him to receive the ball outside the box and take a shot or offload. It's the same deal with Declan Rice. But with Declan Rice having Eze there, he knows that Eze is going to be very much more direct. So Declan Rice might be more of a lamppost midfielder, where he's more of a it's a pass and it's a collect and go, pass the ball, maybe an offload back and then a shot from outside the box. But for this midfield pairing to work correctly, everyone needs to know their role in defense and attack. Now, Martin Odegaard, for me, when they're coming and they're stepping back in sort of a defensive position where we're looking more like we're playing 4-2-3-1, right? I need Odegaard to be playing a little bit further forward. I want Declan Rice and Zubimendi to be side by side, almost like 2 sixes, but I need Odegaard to be a little bit further forward when it comes to his defensive role, because it's the transition that Odegaard's going to be in control of. Zubimendi is going to be the kind of player that's going to be able to find Odegaard in those positions early and allow Odegaard an opportunity to offload the ball to either Eze, Madueke, or to Gyökeres. Same thing goes for Declan Rice in defense. So the transition from defense to attack, obviously, like I said, Zubimendi and Rice playing almost 2 sixes with Odegaard a little bit further forward. Then when we're going into attack, Zubimendi is going to be sitting back as that lone number 6, which he's suited to. But he needs to have the options. He needs to have the options to his left, in other words, Declan Rice, Calafiori, and in some respects Eze, but he also needs the options to his right, which is going to be Urian Timber, Madueke, and Odegaard. These midfielders cannot be right next to him. They can't be, because now they're blocking a channel of pass, and they're also not even an option for Zubimendi. When we played Manchester United, Odegaard was all over the place. So every time Zubimendi collected the ball, he couldn't really pass the ball to him because he was right next to him. So Odegaard needs to understand that he needs to be a little bit further forward. Declan Rice also understands that too. But of course, when one midfielder goes forward, one midfielder has to hang a little bit further back. So if Odegaard shifts forward and moves in with Madueke, Rice needs to shift more centrally and pull a little bit further back. It's the same thing with Odegaard. It's a back and forth. But for these two midfielders to be effective, they have to understand that when we're going into an attack, that neither one of them is going to be collecting the ball from the halfway line or their own third. Because that's a job Zubimendi can do or Urian Timber can do. Plain and simple. It's very easy. If Declan Rice is stuck in his own third or Odegaard is stuck in his own third in an attack, then we're going to see very slow build-up and we're going to see nothing from our midfield. We need to allow Zubimendi to do the job that he's brought in to do. Collect the ball, direct the play, start the attack. And if it's not Zubimendi, it can be Timber. And if it's not Timber, it can be Raya. And if it's not Raya, it can be Calafiori. Calafiori opened up the game against Leeds. We saw what he did for Viktor Gyökeres. But what did he have to do? He had to skip the lines. He skipped the lines. He literally skipped the line, skipped the midfield, and went straight to the striker. Now, that was quick transition of play, which is perfect for Gyökeres. That's how Gyökeres scores his goals. Quick transition play, bang. That's the way we can unlock him. And if we were to shape up our midfield in this manner, then the transition from defense to attack will be 3 passes and a shot. 3 passes and a shot. Maximum 3 passes and a shot. Any more than 3 passes, and it's going to be very hard for Gyökeres to get the ball into the back of the net. And that's including the wingers. So we can't be so lethargic and so slow in our build-up, where we have Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, and Zubimendi almost side by side in the midfield. They need to be in their rightful positions. And if they are, then that means Odegaard will be more effective in front of goal. Rice will be more effective in front of goal. And we're going to see more high-flying football. Our defense is solid, Akpos. I'm sorry for going on. Our defense is solid. Zubimendi is a ball-playing number 6. bro. He's a ball playing number 6, and I want to see that. I want to see that. I want to see him expose midfields and defenses. So that's the key for me. Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice understanding their roles in the transition, not just in defense, but in attack, and sticking to it in attack, not coming all the way back. No, 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 no. Stay forward. Stay forward. We've got quality players around you that will find you if you are in your position.
I totally agree with the points that you've made with respect to this midfield, because I think this is something we need to get right as soon as possible. And I think this also, if Viktor Gyökeres will excel this season, it also depends on the midfield and how well we are going to transition from defense to attack. Because you talked about, some of the making the transition happen in a very fast passing sequence, and this is something that we've struggled in recent times, where we've seen a lot of backward and sideways passes. These sideways passes and backward passes are not going to open teams out, are not going to open teams who want to play in a defensive shape, are not going to break down defenses. And you talked about the job that Martin Zubimendi has been brought in to do, which is to detect the play, and we don't need other midfielders trying to drop deep to try to do the same job. Let Martin Zubimendi do that job, and you also take up other responsibility with respect to how the team would play out from the back. And like you rightly said, we need Odegaard as high up in the midfield area of the pitch as much as possible, where he can effect the change. Because like you said, in 2-3 pass sequence, we need to be in the opposition half. We need to be close to the 18-yard box of the opposition. This is something I would expect from this midfield. And I think Declan Rice, Martin Zubimendi, and Odegaard are the main 3 midfielders that we have right now in that midfield. And these are the guys who will be running the show, hopefully against Nottingham Forest. And I'm expecting them to do it in a very fast and fast-paced sequence, where before the opposition know what's to hit them, the ball is already in the back of the net. So, but I think you've already dissected the midfield issue. The only thing I would want us to add is reduce all of this sideways and backward passes. Let us pass the ball forward. Let us advance as quick as possible, because we have pace. We have direct players. Let us use them to break down defense. Let us use them to hit opposition as fast as possible. And before they know what hits them, the ball is already in the back of the net. But let me pull up, the head-to-head for both teams going into this game on Saturday. In the last 10 Premier League meetings, Arsenal has won 7 times, drew 1, and have lost twice. And both losses have come away at Forest. And brother, what do you think these head-to-head stats are showing? Do you expect us, to go into this game as favorite, as a lot of people are expecting us? I expect us to go into the game as favorite, but just give us your thoughts with respect to the results and the head-to-head from the last 10 Premier League meetings from both teams.
When I see statistics like this, and I have no concerns at the Emirates. Nottingham Forest haven't been able to beat us at home, and to be honest, in our last 5 we've lost once. 1 game in 5. That's including, and that was away. So it's all in our favor. Nottingham Forest are coming to us with these stats. They're already behind. They know they haven't won at the Emirates. They've got a new manager. They've got the uproar in the background with the owner and the previous manager, Nuno, which I believe is a better manager than Ange Postecoglou, but in my opinion, it is what it is. So I think in regards to the statistics, it's an uphill battle for Nottingham Forest. This is a game that should be coming in and they should be fearing Arsenal.
True.
And I think Arsenal right now should be looking at Nottingham Forest thinking, I need to improve my goal difference.
Brother, I think you hit the nail on the head, and I expect Arsenal to go into this one with a very strong position, because in recent time Arsenal have dominated the Nottingham Forest side, and the last time Arsenal lost to them was during an away game at Forest. And with respect to all their off-field issues right now, I think they are pretty much a team that is not very settled. Ange Postecoglou would not have maybe 1, 2, 3 sessions with this team before exactly 2 sessions maximum before we face them come Saturday. And so for me, I think this should be a game where Arsenal will be very comfortable. And this, it's right that we have the head-to-head now. Before we go to the next talking point, I would love us to talk about, because going into this game, I expect Arsenal to get the job done against Forest. And let's talk about Mikel Arteta's tactical response after the defeat to Liverpool at Anfield, because I expect us to go into this game as the favorite on paper, but we know that odds on paper are not going to win you football matches. It's what you
That's right.
do on game day that will determine who wins it, and if you are able to show that you are the team that wants it more. But Steve, how do you expect Mikel Arteta to approach this game with respect to his tactical response after the loss at Anfield? We saw a very conservative style against Liverpool at Anfield, and you, myself, and others have questioned why we set up in a very defensive manner when we have attacking options in our arsenal to make Liverpool pay, considering the fact that they've conceded goals leading to that game. But against a different kind of opposition in Nottingham Forest, how are you expecting Mikel Arteta to respond tactically to this opposition in front of us come Saturday?
I think Mikel Arteta has an opportunity now to switch up just ever so slightly.
Hmm.
Mikel Arteta's issue at the moment is he's trying to score the perfect goal, but as slow as possible.
Hmm.
And we had that problem under Arsene Wenger, where we used to say he's trying to score the perfect goal, but it was tiki-taka football.
Yeah.
One touch back.
To
And that was
work
very
it into
exciting.
the net.
Yeah. And it was exciting to watch. It was good when we'd score those goals and lose games, right? You know, we lost 4-2, but it was a great game. Whereas with Mikel Arteta, the build-up play is so slow that in many cases it's very easy to go to sleep. Now, with players like Eze, with players like Madueke, with players like Gyökeres, these are players that require speed to put the ball into the back of the net. They're not the kind of players that are gonna shift through 3 or 4 players and score. There is no Cesc Fabregas and there is no Santi Cazorla who had those skills where they could go through three or four players, and the same as Thierry Henry. These guys rely on their speed and their movement, and it's in transition. If we slow this down and we continue to play in this manner, which is slow, then unfortunately we nullify Eze, Madueke, and Gyökeres, and it becomes, 1-0 to the Arsenal George Graham. I think Mikel Arteta needs to look at his players. His style of football is nearly there. He just needs to make it. He needs to let the players know that they have to be playing with a bit more urgency. Stop looking to make 3 or 4 passes before you make it to the wing. When you can do it in 2 or 1, make it happen. Quick transition, quick switch of play. Look to link up, look for runners. The key to this, and the issue I have, is when we do get the ball into the opposition's third, there is no runners. No runners. Everyone's stuck in their positions. Mikel Arteta needs to start pushing his players and tell them, look, there needs to be runners off the ball. And that's a key element. But again, if we're going to be building up slow, then we're not going to get anywhere. And I think Mikel Arteta is going to be waking up to this, that he needs to speed up his game. Control is one thing, but for you to be, somewhat successful against any team, it's going to be speed, and it's going to be about stretching defenders and making sure that they make a mistake. And defenders do not make mistakes when they are allowed to shift from left to right slowly. And that's a fact. So in this game, the only thing he could possibly change is change the tactics in regards to the recovery of the ball and the way he works the ball around the defenders from wing to wing. Instead of it going through every single defender, left back, centre back, right back, winger, try to transition the ball across quicker, faster. 2 passes, 1 pass to the other side of the wing, 2 passes to the wing, from wing to wing in 2 passes. Create the triangles and have runners off the balls. That's all it takes. And you've got the quality to finish. It's triangles and quick play. I know it sounds easy, but that's football. It doesn't have to be complicated. I don't want 750 touches in the opposition's box in the first half with only 1 shot on goal. I'd rather be 300 touches or 200 touches in the opposition's half with 5 shots on goal. Does that make sense?
It does makes a lot of sense, I'll see. And for me, I would say going into this game against Nottingham Forest, I want to see Mikel Arteta drop the risk averse tactical approach to games. This is a game where I expect us to go in, score a couple of goals, get a clean sheet, and also put on a defensive, solid performance. I know that yes, we want to, we want to be very solid defensively, but at the end of the day, we need to do it with right balance. We don't need to turn into a team that is way too defensive. Now we have a lot of offensive players in our arsenal. Let us unleash those players. I want to see Mikel Arteta give these players now freedom to go out there and rip teams open. We want to see these players not being caged. We want to see these players being put in dangerous position where they can carve the fence open. Because now the likes of Eze coming, the likes of Madueke coming, let us see these players in more advanced situations, in more advanced position where they can unlock the fence, where they can get us the goals to win games, where they can get the assist. So going into this game, I want to see us approach this game in a very offensive manner. I don't want to see us, starting from the line, the starting lineup. I don't want to see the manager going out there and put on a very defensive kind of selection. This is a game that we know we need to go there and get 3 points. We are going into this one as favorites. And you talked about a game where we could potentially go there and score a good number of goals to help our goal difference. We need to go all out and be offensive and attack this in this game, because this is one criticism people have been throwing at Mikel Arteta now. It's Arsenal style has become very defensive. Arsenal style has become pretty much very similar to the likes of your Atletico Madrid. People have been linking him to the likes of Diego Simeone, and some are even saying now Simeone has won something for it, but Mikel Arteta has not won anything. But yes, I want to put that, behind the scenes now. Let's approach this game in a very offensive style. Let's see our players taking risks in the players in the opposition half of the field and trying to win the game. Because I think sometimes, we leave it too late before we begin to take the risk. When we saw that, against Liverpool, when they scored us, we're not going at them. We're not going at them to get a goal, to get the game to eventually end on a draw. So, but I want to see us start this game in a very more offensive style. We have players to hurt them. We want to see the team, and these offensive players, we want to see them in offensive position, not them, dropping too deep each and every time. Yes, we know that these players would contribute to their own quarter of defending, and that's why we are very strong defensively. But we also need to put these players in the positions where we can win games, in a position where they can decide the key moments of the games for us. So I want to see Mikel Arteta set up tactically in that style. I want to see him also do it in some big games potentially. I'm not saying we need to go to big games to win 4-5-0, but we need to go to big games to score goals, because goals are what will win you football games. And you don't win football games when you sit too deep in your half, when you set up in terms of your selection in a very, very defensive style. So, but I think we've addressed that with respect to what we expect from the tactical response after the loss to Liverpool at Anfield. But at the end of the day, Mikel Arteta is the one who makes the decision. We as fans are only going to come on the channel to give our 1%, our 1 cent, our 1 kobo on what we think we expect the manager to do. But which players do you think would decide? No. Before I forget, let's talk a little bit about Viktor Gyökeres. I think I was missing that talking point.
I was going to say, wait a minute. We talked about a lot of players, but for some reason we didn't talk about our number 9. Okay.
Exactly. I was going to skip that. But what are your thoughts about Viktor Gyökeres going into this one? I've heard some shatters out there. Some persons are saying, the jury is still out. They still have concerns about, they still have question marks about Viktor Gyökeres. Do you expect Gyökeres to get a goal or 2 in this game against Nottingham Forest?
I do. I expect him to score in this game. I think he will. As long as Eze starts on the left-hand side, Gyökeres scores. If Eze starts on the left-hand side, Eze gets an assist for Gyökeres. All day. Put money on that. If Eze starts, he will give Gyökeres an assist. I'm guaranteeing that. Gyökeres, I think, at the moment is under massive scrutiny. But that's because everybody loves to hate Arsenal. So we finally get a number 9 and everyone wants to slam him. That's it. Maybe he's not good enough. But at the same time, you look at all the strikers that are out there in the Premier League right now. Gyökeres has done pretty well so far. What's that? 2 goals so far this season?
Yeah, 2 goals
I
in 3
mean,
games.
and how much did he cost us again? Was it 55 million or 60 million?
I think about 60 or
55.
thereabouts.
Yeah, thereabouts.
60. Yeah,
I know a
60
lot of
or
other
thereabouts.
players that haven't hit the ground running. Let's not talk about Gyökeres. Just one more thing before if we're going to start hammering on him. How's Florian Wirtz doing at Liverpool? 120
Exactly.
million. I think he's done sweet fuck all. But nobody's talking about that. No. They want to talk about Arsenal. By all means, talk about Arsenal. Viktor Gyökeres is going to be a striker that eventually will hit the ground running once Mikel Arteta has his wingers set up. Because Viktor Gyökeres, if we saw him against Leeds, look. Viktor Gyökeres, when he received the ball from Calafiori, we both know he had a lot of work to do. He had plenty of work to do. He had to go into the box. He took the left back with him. He took the centre back with him, and he sent the goalkeeper flying. Now if that doesn't scream that I'm a quality number 9, what does? If that was if that was Isak, everybody was saying, "See, he's
exactly,
right?"
What
if
class?
That was Haaland, you're gonna say,
what class
"What are we
striker
surprised?"
goal?
Yeah, we're not surprised. It was Haaland. Gyökeres does it. Nobody can say anything, right? It's just keep your mouth shut. Let's not praise him. Let's not praise him. Look, I think Gyökeres is a kind of player who doesn't like to talk too much. I think he likes his performances to speak for themselves, right? And with the options that we had available for us, I'm very happy that Viktor Gyökeres is playing for Arsenal and not Benjamin Šeško right now.
So I totally agree with you.
Honestly, right? And I think Gyökeres in this game, and in every game he goes in, he's going to be hungry. He's going to be very hungry. And it's just going to be about how we set up to feed Gyökeres. And don't forget, he hasn't had a preseason with Arsenal. Eze hasn't had a preseason with Arsenal. Madueke hasn't had a preseason with Arsenal. And wait a minute, did I just pretty much name our front 3? Yes, I did.
Our front 3, exactly.
Yes, I did. The preseason is in this season, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? Gyökeres has still got 2 goals to his name. Still got 2 goals to his name. And I'm telling you now, Eze starts, Eze gets an assist for Gyökeres. I wouldn't be surprised if Eze is even on the score sheet with Gyökeres. So, look, I'm keen. I'm happy with Gyökeres so far. I like his movement. I just think that he needs more time to gel with the team. And Mikel Arteta needs to understand the kind of striker he has and the way to use his wingers and his midfield. It's just a little bit of tinkering, Akpos. It is. And this guy can be unlocked. And I'm telling you, if he hasn't got double digits in the Premier League this season.
I think he hits double digits easy in the Premier League this season, in my opinion, if we utilize him very well. And I think we see eye to eye with all the points that you've mentioned with respect to Gyökeres, because it's Arsenal. When he scores, people do not want to mention it. People do not want to give him his credit, his well-deserved credit. But when he does not score, we are seeing it on the front pages. We are seeing it everywhere on the socials. But with respect to Gyökeres, so far, I've been impressed with what I've seen. But I also know that we definitely need some time for him and the team to gel properly, because like you said, we have players playing with him in this partnership position that they've not really had pre-season. They don't really, understand the Arsenal setup yet with respect to the attacking final third. But I think with playing these games together as soon as possible, like you said, we are having the preseason with respect to the front 3, for example, in the season. The earlier they begin to play games now, the better. I think the quicker they start to form this partnership, the quicker they begin to have this understanding, the quicker they begin to interpret each other's run so much better. And we saw how the likes of Mateta was enjoying playing with a player like Eberechi Eze. So when I look at, Mateta, look at Gyökeres, pretty much a traditional kind of number 9, physically strong, big guys who want to, get into the dangerous position, and how Eze was finding Mateta with ease. I feel like Eze would also find Gyökeres with ease. And I think Gyökeres and Eze could also be a very good partnership, a very good combination going into the season. And it could just be, bread and butter kind of combination between Gyökeres and Eze. And just like you said, that could potentially be a betting tip for people who want to, put in, a little things for fun. With respect to the Saturday game, I think if Eze also starts, definitely it can provide an assist or two for Viktor Gyökeres to put the ball in the back of the net. But it's been a fantastic one. I think I was just talking about all the talking points. You, my brother, also were just talking about all the talking points. We even forget to ask people to subscribe to the channel, to
No
like, to
shit.
leave a comment. We just dived in and we were dissecting all of the key talking points. But if you've not subscribed already to the channel, if you're doing a rewatch, please kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification button, because we will also be here after the game to give our thoughts with respect to what we've seen the team play. And you can also subscribe to my co-host's channel, Steve, the Aussie Gunner, at the Aussie Gunners. There, I'm always there with him, doing the previews, doing the review show, and also, talking about all the key topics from Arsenal. But quickly, brother, before we give our prediction, just plug it in. Where can the people find you on the different social media platform?
Thank you, my guy. Thank you. Hey, guys, don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe here. But look, where you're going to find me, you'll find me on Instagram as the Aussie Gooner, or you can jump on YouTube and just type in the Aussie Gooner, and you'll find me on my channel there. And you'll definitely find Akpos there, because it's dynamic duo settings when it comes to me and Akpos. So, yeah, please, guys, like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel. It's on the road to 1K. Let's get there, huh?
Big up, my brother. Big up, my brother. Thanks each and every time for all the support, and hopefully we'll get this channel to hit the 1K milestone very soon. But it's been a fantastic one, people. We'll quickly wrap up the stream with our score prediction. What are your score predictions going into this game, brother? Are we expecting to see a goal galore? Are we expecting to see 1-0 to the Arsenal? What are you expecting to see, my brother?
3-0. 3-0 to Arsenal. If they
3-0
start
to
Eze,
the Arsenal.
if Eze starts, if it's our lineup, if that's our lineup, the one that we've dropped, Eze starts with Madueke, Odegaard, and Gyökeres, it's 3-0 all day. If that's the lineup, it's 3-0 all day. All day it's 3-0. We're not going to have a problem. We're not going to have a problem defensively.
I'm hoping that
we're not.
I'm hoping and expecting to see that front three, brother. But I would want to go with 3-0 prediction also with you. But I would also want to go a step further to potentially predict 4-0 victory if we start to find the back of the net early into the game. I expect us to have potentially a good couple of goals in this game. So maybe if we start to score early, we might see a funny victory to the Arsenal. But it's been a fantastic one. And big shout out to my co-host, Steve, the Aussie Gunner, for jumping on the channel after I've been on a long break on the channel, but I did a comeback with the internationals, and I think it was also perfect to come here and talk about Arsenal versus the Forest game. And hopefully after the game, we'll also be here to give our thoughts with respect to how the game went. And hopefully it's going to be 3 points and a dominating performance from Arsenal. So, boy, it's been 1 hour on the stream. As our people will say, every good team that has a good beginning will also have a good ending. So, but I remain your host, Akbos, and this is Football Talk Shop. Big games, big opinion, and nothing else back. Stay blessed and stay safe out there until we see you after the Arsenal game. And from Steve, one last word from you, my brother, before we end the stream.
Look, thank you for having me, Akpos. It's been an absolute honor coming onto the channel. Let's go, you Gunners. Yeah? 3-0 to the Arsenal. And I hope to see you guys soon, yeah?
Come on, you Gunners.